Hey guys, Eclipse14 here. Time for the Nintendo 3DS, and I say that because I only own 3DS games, which are those three on top, and that's really it, so I'm just going to call it the 3DS version because I said so. So let's not get too stupid here. Let's go ahead and start with this thing here. This is my spare Nintendo 3DS. It's a simple midnight purple one. I picked it up at a flea market a long time ago for I think $50. Not too shabby. Inside actually has everything, which is, well, the operations manual and the charging station stuff and whatnot. You got the station in here that's still cased. My 3DS is still cased in there, and this is empty because this is where the charger is supposed to be, and I actually have it plugged up on the wall. And the reason for that is because the one I use is this 3DS XL. This was actually the Mario Kart 7 3DS XL. I actually own the box and everything for this one, but I can't seem to find it right now to be able to post for the video. But this was the one I regularly use, and nowadays the R button doesn't work anymore, so I need to get that replaced. But other than that, it's been very good to me, and I like using it. This one's mostly as a spare for just in case something really goes wrong with this one, but this has been good to me, so I only put in about a day or so worth of time on this purple 3DS to make sure everything was fine. And sure enough, everything is in good shape. So I'm glad I got a spare for when things go wrong. Alright, with that being said, let's go ahead and close that. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my DS games first before I make my cut. First off is Metroid Prime Hunters. Take note, every single game is complete with its case. This is the only one that doesn't have its instruction manual. It's just the cartridge in the case. I only put in like 5 minutes for this one just to make sure everything worked. I wasn't too interested in really playing the game at some point in time, and I got it because I knew someone owned the case but didn't own the cartridge, and I found the cartridge, picked it up, and got the case for free. So, got that, and not a whole lot to say because I don't remember the last time I actually tried to even play it. So, maybe I'll get to it at some point, but it's not that high on my priority list. Next is Final Fantasy 3. Now, this game I have completed. At least on the 2D version through a NES fan translation. The 3D version, on the other hand, my god, is it hard. I only made it about halfway through the game, got stuck, and never attempted it again. I have beat it on the 2D version through the NES fan translation, as I said, but this one is just absolutely tough. This cartridge, though, does have a strange case where apparently one dude managed to cheat his way through, and the save file, everybody is like 200, 250 HP, and then your main character is like 9,000 HP, so not exactly sure how that got through, but it's just an oddity that just didn't make sense, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I kept this game in the first place. So, yeah, Final Fantasy 3 isn't bad, it's just very difficult. And good thing I have picked it up. And the last game on the DS is Etrian Odyssey 3: The Drowned City. I, again, only put about 5 minutes into this one to make sure it worked. This is actually a pretty clean copy, and the only reason I haven't really played it all that much is because I've been looking for the first two Etrian Odyssey games. However, when I did get this game, I did have the chance to get the first two as well. But I got the third one because I had heard at that time that it was effectively disappearing and getting a little more difficult to get. So I picked the third one up just in case, and I haven't seen any of the Etrian Odyssey games since then, bar the 3DS ones. So with that said, I'm glad I picked it up when I did. I want to get the first two games before I really start getting into this game. And that's pretty much what's been holding me back from playing it. Alright, 3DS. First off is Super Mario 3D Land, which is complete with everything. I got this as a Christmas present alongside my 3DS, so I didn't pay anything for this. Until I picked up this strategy guide, which is the Primus strategy guide, I had actually beaten the game in terms of getting all the way to the special worlds and clearing it that way. With the guide, I was able to 100% complete the game, including clearing the difficult Special 8 Crown World, and I haven't touched the game since then, since, well, I 100% completed. What else do I have to do? So I am glad I got the game to be completed, and that's really all I got to say, because it's freaking Super Mario. Do I really need to say much else? Puzzle and Dragon Z and Puzzle and Dragon Super Mario Bros. Edition. I got this game because I was into the mobile game that was Puzzle and Dragons. Unfortunately, I am no longer a player of that game. I stopped in early 2017 because of my extreme frustration over many, many weeks of just puzzles not functioning, gotcha not doing anything for me, and just all around being a total mess. Now, this one technically doesn't have an instruction manual because everything wanted to go electronic at this point. So this is the only 3DS game that doesn't technically have its instruction manual because of that. So because I left Puzzle and Dragons, I kind of lost interest in playing this game in the first place. I played Z to a degree, and it had a pretty neat story, and Super Mario Bros. Edition is just, well, what do you expect? It's just Puzzle and Dragons in the Super Mario format. So, not a whole lot to say here. Definitely enjoyed the game when I played it, but times were times, and I had to move on, and I haven't even considered playing the game since then. Mario & Luigi Dream Team. Unfortunately, I never got to finish this game, and I really wanted to. I got very far in, got stuck, and just didn't know where to go, and I hadn't touched it since then. I ended up restarting the game a couple times just to see what went wrong. Anyway, everything is complete. I really enjoyed this game, but yeah, that's the real upsetting part is the fact that I never got to finish it. Hopefully someday I will be able to once I figure out where I got stuck and how to actually continue with the story. But until then, it's pretty much just sitting here until I can figure out how to do it. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. I completed this game before I bought my Nintendo 64 version, so I never got to play the N64 version all that much because I had already beaten this game on the 3DS. Thanks in part to this being a Christmas gift, as well as the Primus Strategy Guide also being a Christmas gift. So I had this to help me on my way through my first time playing Ocarina of Time. So, it's got everything, and not a whole lot to say here. I mean, it's an excellent game. It's a definitely good remake, I will say that. And that's really, do I really have much to say otherwise? No, not really, because it's an excellent game, and I got to beat it, and that's all that matters. Sonic Generations. This game was very quick to finish, and suffice to say, it was okay. I did like it. There are a couple exclusives to the 3DS version, such as the Big Arm fight, which was the end of Sonic 3, being exclusive to this version, which was a quick but awesome fight, for one example. That's really the only thing I remember off the top of my head was that particular fight, because I knew it was exclusive to the 3DS version. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, other than I beat the sucker in, I think, 10 hours, and that was about it. The game is pretty short and quick when you get right down to it. Alright, needing to make a cut. Next up is Coda Princess. Unfortunately, I don't really have too much to say about this one. I only played it for like 5 to 10 minutes, and the only real memory I got of it is that it seems to be a beat 'em up of sorts, and beat 'em ups are alright, but I mostly really picked up this game because it's an Atlas game, and I generally like Atlas stuff because they usually do pretty well. Problem is, I never really just put in any time to play the game whatsoever. I really should have, but I just never got around to it, and it's just been sitting. Unfortunately, that's all I got to say about it because I don't have many memories of it at all, other than the 5 to 10 minutes that I tried it. Bravely Default. I completed this game. Took a while, but I eventually pulled it through. It's not bad. I have played others that I liked a bit more, though, but Bravely Default is actually a pretty decent game. I'd recommend it because it is a good role-playing game on the 3DS, and it's got some neat stuff, and it's been a long time since I actually finished it, so I haven't touched it since I finished it as well, so I don't have too many memories of anything since then, other than the fact that I enjoyed playing through this game, and now that I think about it, I really should try to play it again, and also get Bravely Second, because I heard that was pretty good as well. Bit Trip Saga. I love this game. This game is one of my favorites on the 3DS. I remember my cousin owned the Wii version, the Wii games from WiiWare, and we just ran them to the bone because they were so fun. When I heard it was on 3DS, I knew I wanted to pick it up, and I would never find it at all, so I ended up ordering it online, and ever since then, I've only seen two other copies since my online order, and that was a good chunk of time ago, at least 7 years ago. So, this is a pretty awesome game. It runs under the just like basic Atari graphics formats. It's a rhythm game with some one sides like Pong. You've got it's a neat set of games. Unfortunately, the Wii version is no longer available, although you can get it through BitTrip Complete. But I picked this one up because I knew about the 3DS version. I really wanted to play it. I have completed this game, and this was the last game I actually completed on the 3DS before everything started getting weird on my current system. So I've got some memories on this one because I put in quite a good chunk of time on it, and I would definitely recommend this game to anybody because it is so fun. And last up, before my limited stuff, is Project Cross Zone 2. Project X Zone 2, if you need to say it as well. This one, I only played a couple missions, and that was about it. And the only reason that was the case was because I tried to play it, ended up stalling, and never returned to it. So, this one is definitely like number one on my priority list for 3DS when I finally get my R button fixed again, because I will need that to actually do anything in this game. So, this is sitting there for when the time comes and everything works out as intended, but until then, it gets to sit and collect dust until my 3DS gets fixed. Speaking of Project Cross Zone and limited edition stuff, that was why the second one was shown first, because I own the limited edition of Project X Zone. I have completed this one because I was very heavily anticipating this game. I played the demos of it before it got launched, and eventually it took a little bit of time, but I found a limited edition copy, and I've had it ever since. I like this game. It's just absolutely chaotic. Early on, it feels like extreme randomness because everybody keeps appearing at random times with random goals. But eventually everything comes together and it all turns out to be pretty cool in the end. So I did play this game a good chunk of time, good in at least 100 hours because I actually played the game twice. And not a whole lot else to say otherwise, other than it's a pretty good strategy role-playing game. It crossover, it's just an absolute mess when it comes to the amount of people in this game. So I definitely enjoyed it. I am really looking forward to playing Project Cross Zone 2 again and see if I can actually play that one and finish it. Next is Etrian Odyssey 4 Legends of Titan. I actually did play this one a good chunk. Again, it was from a demo. And it took a long time, but I found a copy of Etrian Odyssey 4, managed to get the music CD and the design book case, so I've got that in there. I'm just not opening anything at this point. Played a good chunk of time on it, because I actually, I played the demo, and I liked it, so I played it a bit more, and I haven't really finished it since then. Again, with the R button broken, I haven't really tried to play this game since then, since I do kind of need that button for stuff. Seventh Dragon 3 Code VFD. This is what's called the launch edition. I actually managed to pick this up about a week before it was supposed to officially launch in July 2016, so that was pretty cool. I have completed this game. Took a lot of time off of me for getting it. I finished it like 4 months after it got launched when I actually started getting serious on it, and it took a good chunk of time every day for me to play it. Pretty simple game, not too bad in terms of storyline, and overall, I'd recommend it because it's actually a pretty decent game overall. So, that's about it. I don't have much to say about it because since I actually beat it, I haven't really played it since then. It's got an art book inside and the game itself, and that's really it. That's pretty much the launch edition. And the final game for the Nintendo 3DS is a limited edition copy of Shin Megami Tensei 4, which includes the strategy guide, the soundtrack is in there somewhere in the middle, and the game itself. Haven't played it a huge amount. I used the guide to try to help me out to a degree. The guide isn't fully complete. It ends up so it doesn't spoil anything near the end, because I do have an idea of what this game is. And other than that, once again, it's been a while since I really played it, so I don't have too much to comment on. But I have enjoyed it, and hopefully I will be able to finish it at some point, but it will take a very long time before that's even a possibility. Regardless, I got it in my hands, and that's really all that matters, especially with everything to help me on the way. I'm in for one heck of a mess. Okay, and with that, that concludes the Nintendo 3DS collection, and my updated Nintendo collection is officially covered in video. So, next thing I'm going to do is the small little Xbox collection I've got, since I only own the original Xbox and nothing else, and then I'll move on to something else. So, hope I'll see you guys there. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.